Without giving mocks, there is absolutely no way that you can crack the CAT. So today we'll discuss the different CAT mocks available in the market, what are their special features, and I'll also be comparing them with actual CAT papers. Lastly, we'll have a section on how many of these test series should you be buying. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. The first mock test we'll be discussing is iQuanta, one of the emerging names in the world of CAT and MBA exams. They're also coming up with a free All India mock test. The first free mock goes live between the 6th and the 9th June. Top performers during this period stand a chance to win prizes worth rupees 50 lakhs. And the good thing about their ICAT mocks is their AI based analysis tab, where you get to review your answers and you get features such as section wise strengths and weaknesses. Questions are also designed in such a way that giving all the ICATs prepares you for a difficult or an easy exam, and you can test out your strategies here before the CAT D-Day. The portal also provides information about the difficulty level of each question, so you can get a true picture of how difficult the question is. The average time spent by toppers and the average time spent by you gives you clarity on the amount of time that you should have been allotting to that particular question in an exam scenario. Mock comparison tab helps you compare your performance with the previous mocks, and there are video solutions as well which help you understand the solution to each question. Finally, there is a section for error tracking wherein you can keep a tab of all your errors, and it helps you make sure that you do not repeat them. For more updates on the free All India mock, you can join their WhatsApp group. The link will be down in the description below. Let's now move on to the next big thing. My next recommendation to you would be IMS SimCATs. Now, the first good thing about IMS SimCATs is that if you give the test in a particular test window, which goes on from I think Friday to Sunday, what happens is you get an All India rank. So that is the first thing that happens. In addition to that, there is also a very high number of test takers. So your percentile, you get a fairly good estimate of how you have compared, how you have performed compared to the rest of India. So that is the first pro about this portal, and the user interface is one of the easiest that I've found. The portal or the user interface is very easy to use. You would have no trouble navigating through the whole interface. And here I want to talk about the analysis part. So you get video solutions, you get text solutions as well, and you also get an opportunity to review all the questions at once from all the SimCATs that you have taken through a review option. So there is a tab through which you can review according to the question type. So let's say 3-4 months down the line, you would have the opportunity, when you've taken multiple mocks, you would have the opportunity to go through mock review based on the question type that you want to review. So that is yet another thing. Now let's compare the different sections and how they relate to the CAT. The first is the VARC section. Now, fairly honest examination here. Last year I took all the 20 SimCATs, and in the first 5 to 6 SimCATs I used to score in the 40s, 35s, 40s, 45s. And I was fairly happy because that's how much I score on the CATs as well. In CAT 2023, I scored 38. In CAT 2024, I scored a 40. So in the first 5 to 6 SimCATs, things were going well for me. But what happened afterwards in the second half of the SimCATs, SimCAT 10 onwards, my score started dropping close to 8 marks, 10 marks, 15 marks. And some of the answer explanations to those SimCATs did not really make sense to me. So VARC I'm not particularly happy about for SimCAT. So that is one thing. In addition to that, LRDI is fairly good, fairly similar to the CAT, what you can expect. Some mocks it is easy, some mocks it is more on the difficult side. But overall, over 20 mocks, you would get a very good estimation of how the actual CAT is going to look like, and you would be prepared for different scenarios. May it be easy, may it be difficult, and that is what LRDI is like. The next one is QA. I found this to be very, very good, very, very similar to the level that CAT offers. And QA is, there are low hanging fruits as well, but those low hanging fruits don't look like low hanging fruits. So it's like you'd always need to use some brain in order to get any question right, which I think is the pattern with CAT as well. So overall, a very good rating I would give to IMS SimCATs. That is our second recommendation for the day. All right. The next recommendation are career launcher mocks. They are called the CDC mocks. And they have video solutions, text solutions, the entire jazz. In addition to that, the portal or the user interface is a little more difficult to use, but that is something that we can navigate because the question quality is good. Let's get on to that. The first thing is VARC. VARC I've personally no trouble with in terms of career launcher, fairly difficult, but that is something you would expect on the CAT as well. And the question solution or the answer solutions, they make sense. You can sort of agree with whatever justification they've given for whichever answer they're saying is the right answer. Then comes LRDI. I am a huge proponent for LRDI. Personally, I really did find their LRDI to be very useful. Their sets were very much like what we would expect on the actual exam. And towards the end of my last lap of preparation, in my last 1 week of preparation, I was only giving these sectional tests of career launcher, so they were very helpful for me for that. So that is gonna be one of my tips for LRDI. The next one is QA. QA is a hit or miss. There are a few questions that have, I think, a 0% chance of appearing on the CAT, but overall, if you look at the 20 mocks or the 30 mocks that they are going to be providing, you would get a very good estimate of the kind of questions that CAT can throw at you. So this is definitely one mock test series that you could consider. Up next, we have Cracku. Personally, the DashCATs are something that really added value to my CAT preparation. You definitely get video solutions to each one of these questions. The portal and the user interface is also fairly straightforward. You know where to go whenever you open the Cracku site. With that said, let's now compare each one of their sections with regard to the actual CAT. For example, the first one is the VARC section. VARC section very much similar to what you would expect on the actual CAT. The answer solutions, they make sense. I personally found value from the VARC section, but the thing that I noticed over here is I used to read a lot of aeons, and a lot of VARC articles were created, or the VARC questions were created from very recent aeon articles. So these aeon articles were what I would encounter in the DashCAT as well. So what used to happen is that a lot of times it became easier for me. So maybe this is one thing, that if you read aeons regularly, you might find some of the articles repeating in the DashCATs. That is one thing. Then LRDI is very, very difficult, I would say. It is too difficult in my opinion. Maybe if I were to say, this is maybe 50% more difficult than what you would expect on the CAT. I would recommend to anyone to only practice about 20 or 30% more difficult than what you would expect on the CAT. This is much more difficult than what you would anticipate on the CAT. For the people who enjoy LRDI, I would recommend this, but for the people who do not, I would caution you if you are thinking about DashCATs. Next one is QA. QA is also probably going to make you cry your eyes out, but about QA, I have some very positive feedback. I really enjoyed their QA because QA section has interestingly questions that one question is going to be about 2 to 3 CAT questions in one. So it'll help you develop your concepts like anything. And even if you get one question right, you will feel a tremendous amount of satisfaction. So Cracku quant questions are very, very fulfilling and satisfying to solve. So every question, there is something or the other that you'll learn. You'll have to use your brains, but it is very, very rewarding. I would definitely recommend someone to try out their quants especially. So that is something about Cracku test series. Next recommendation for the test series is T.I.M.E Mocks, now also a fairly well-known name in the CAT world. A big number of test takers, close to 10,000 test takers, are going to take this exam. With that said, I want to give you a caveat. This is something I've not personally used. All the other players, their mocks are something I've personally utilized, but T.I.M.E is something that I haven't. So I have taken feedback from some of my friends, and here is what they have to say. VARC, I haven't gotten substantial feedback, so I'm not going to comment about VARC of T.I.M.E. But LRDI is fairly representative of what the CAT has to offer. With that said, I would say it is slightly more difficult than the CAT. So overall it is a good recommendation, because I wouldn't want you to practice anything that is on the easier side, because if you only practice easy on the D-Day in the CAT, you would find yourself stumped. So I don't want you to practice easy. I would want you to be prepared for 10 or 20% more difficult than what we have seen on the CAT 2024. So that is one thing. The next thing is QA. QA is the interesting part about QA I've heard about from my friends is that every video solution you get some sort of short trick or a tip. So if you are someone who is a fan of short tricks, I think you would really enjoy the T.I.M.E quants analysis section. So that is my review for the T.I.M.E mocks. Now let's jump on to some test taking tips that I want to give you. The first thing I want to tell you is do not avoid mocks. Mocks are like the light that will expose your flaws, so you should not be afraid of this light. Taking mocks is the only way that you will be able to achieve your dream percentile, achieve your dream B school. So absolutely do not look at mocks as something that you should avoid. If you get poor scores, figure out what went wrong and try to do better next time, but take the scores of mocks with a pinch of salt. They do not represent what you will be scoring on the D-Day. The next thing is use different strategies in your different mocks. For example, in the VARC section, you can try out four RCs at once. Then you can also try out RCs, then VA, then RC. That is something you can experiment. And through all the different mocks, you can figure out what is your best strategy. So use mocks to use different strategies and figure out what works for you. The next thing is how many mocks do you need? Now, personally, I believe someone who is taking the CAT for the first time, they can do very well with even one test series. Close to 25-30 mocks is enough practice to get you ready for the CAT D-Day. But if you are, let's say you're someone who's a repeater who already has a very good foundation in the concepts of CAT, you already have an 85 or a 90 or a 95 percentile, you want to get to the 98 or the 99th percentile, you are gonna need more test series. I personally took 3 last year, and I would recommend the repeaters to definitely take at least 2, because in this second leg of your preparation that you're taking the CAT again, majority of your prep is not going to be concept building, but it is going to be taking mocks and refining your test taking strategy. So you need more test series, so you should be able to take it and take that decision. And I would recommend that to anyone who is again taking the CAT. So that is yet another tip from my end. With that said, I also want to make a video talking about how we should analyze mocks. So if you want me to talk about it, please let me know down in the comment section below. And that's a little bit from my side, and bye bye.